longer! We need to get out of the storm! Maybe we should go back! No! No, we've come too far!
I thought this might be of interest to you.
The Ark. Real page turner.
Just read it, let me know what you think.
Dad, isn't this the type of thing that got you kicked out of Virginia Tech?
Jehovah is God.
Ah, Noah.
And he is bringing his judgment to the earth. He's covering it completely with a flood. He commanded me to build this ship. Man, look at me, though. You know that.
Maybe we should go back! Get out of here! Jimmy!
I feel so lost.
We are not lost. We are together.
I could end up in a wheelchair in a year or so. I could get so bad that I can't provide for you or raise kids.
When I met you, I believed in you. And then because of who you are and how you are, I believed in Jehovah.
So if God has given you the grace to get this far, then he will give us the grace to make this work.
There it is. So if it's up there and we find it,
Yeah?
what happens then?
We changed the world.
That's it. Hey guys, it's Benjamin Dane. I play Noah in the upcoming epic adventure series, Struck. And we're here today. I can't believe this is our 5th episode of Struck Live. I'm just blown away. And today we're talking to the two Daltas. We're talking to the real Dalta Morris, who was married to John D. Morris. And really the story is about John D. Morris, his life. I was struck by God to search for evidence of the Ark. So we're going to be talking to Dalta Morris about John's life. Sadly, he passed away about a year ago. And so I cannot wait to speak a little bit further with Dalta today. And then also we're speaking with Kayli Hessler. Kayli plays Dalta. She's the actress that plays Kayli. She plays Dalta in Struck the series. So it's going to be great to hear from Kayli and her point of view about playing someone, a real life character like Dalta and this story. So we're very excited about all of this. And we want you guys to also know that today we're going to kind of talk to both of them. And we're also going to show you the full scene of Kayli's scene with Todd Denson, who plays John D. Morris. So you'll see a scene from Struck that we've never released before. You've seen glimpses on the trailer, but you've never seen the full scene. So today we're going to show you that full scene. So it's a very exciting moment today that we're going to release some more footage so you guys can see that. But yeah, let me show you a few things here. I'm going to show you we really want you to go to the strucktheseries.com. That is so important because it kind of tells the whole story about Struck. And there you can find out about the cast, the team. You can watch the 5-minute trailer. It's the proof of concept trailer. You saw the 2-minute version of that. So it's encapsulated at the open of the show, but there at the website, you can see the full proof of concept. So go there. And also there, you can actually find out a little bit more about what we're doing here with Struck the series and find out a little bit more about, like I said, the team, the cast, the story behind it all. And there's a couple other things that I want to tell you guys about. So really the whole thing is we've got this incredible contest going on. There's merchandise there as well. So, but you can also log on to strucktheseries.com and sign up for the Lightning Club. And this is the cool thing. The Lightning Club, what you can do here, once you sign up, then we give you once a month, only once a month, we send you kind of the communique, what's going on, the latest and greatest of what's going on with Struck the series, so you can find out the latest updates. There's some great articles. Dalta wrote an article in this month's version, but if you didn't see it, you weren't signed up for the Lightning Club, but it just kind of keeps you informed. You can also donate to make sure that Struck the series becomes a series, a streaming series. It comes to life. And then there's great Struck merchandise. And you can see here, I'm all suited up. You know, I've got my Struck by God t-shirt, my Struck by God dog tag, my cap, and my mug. So you can see all that. But what's really, really cool is that we've also got right now, and this is kind of a how can I say this? Kind of a little bit of a secret in the fact that we've kind of done away with the promo code, but for a limited time, only anyone that's watching right now can take advantage of the promo code. Is Struck10. So when you go on to the Struck theseries.com and you click merchandise, you can get all kinds of merch and gear from Struck. And not only are you really making a statement of faith for your faith in the Lord, but you're also helping us promote the series. And all proceeds go to the development of the series. So you're helping us get and launch this series. So that's the most important thing. And you can see right here, I've got my Struck by God hoodie. This is new. I just got this Struck by God hoodie. And I also have my long sleeve Struck by God. Actually, this is not Struck by God. This is a Struck No More Rock Monsters. Let me show you the back of that. So I don't know if you guys can see it, but so it's a kind of a fun take on another production that was done. It was called Noah, and they had these rock monsters. Okay, even though rock monsters are not in scripture, they had these rock monsters like tearing everything up, and it was kind of weird. But I guess they sunk in the flood. I don't know, but we don't have any rock monsters, so it's a fun take. But listen, there's really some great merchandise. And the other thing that I want to tell you guys about is our promo right now. We've got a promo that is going on. It's called Mug Struck. And so you can get your Struck by God mugs here. And it's a contest where you go on. So when you go to strucktheseries.com, all you got to do is click on contest. And then you want to sign up with your email. And if you like us on Facebook, you get 2 entries. If you like us on YouTube, you get 2 entries. If you become a Lightning Club member, like I said earlier, you get 5 entries. So the more you do, the more you help us promote and get the word out, the more entries you get and to win one of these great mugs. And I've got mine here. And believe me, today, I am so glad I've got my hoodie on. I've got my mug because it's cold. It's cold outside. I'm enjoying all of my Struck merch today. Believe me, I'm using it all. But yeah, so that is something that I wanted to kind of let you guys know what we're doing here. And like I said, it's fun. We're excited. We're pulling back the curtain a little bit to show you guys the process behind Struck. And usually you just don't see stuff like this because usually you see a trailer and the show, the series, the movie is coming out right then, you know, so you see it, you're like, I want to go see that. But with this, we have a proof of concept, and basically we are pitching to distributors while we get this thing set. So we want to take it to a streaming series. So what you're seeing is a lot of the footage that we've already shot for the series, and it's what we're pitching to distributors. So we don't have any distributors yet, but that's coming. So you can see for the first time, you can see us kind of behind the scenes and what we're doing to get the series off the ground, and you can help. That's why we need you guys to help us as much as possible. So go to strucktheseries.com, find out a little bit more about who we are and what we're doing. And let's see, what do I got next before we introduce our guest? So we, I have had the pleasure of meeting Dalta, and she is such a wonderful lady. And over a year ago, I was able to also meet John, her husband. And like I said, this story is about John. And it's so exciting and so thrilling because he was this modern day Indiana Jones who was a geologist who was struck by God to find the ark and find evidence of the ark and really prove that creation did happen and there was a worldwide flood. And I've been so fascinated and taken by his life as I've seen it through this series and through everything that we're doing. But it has been such an incredible journey for me. I had no idea of some of the evidence and some of the things that John and his father and the ICR team brought forth. I mean, I just am amazed. And now, of course, you can see the Ark Encounter in Kentucky, and you can really see how large and mammoth this ship was. But I want to introduce to you Dalta Morris. Dalta is John's wife, and she is with us today. I'm so excited that we're going to talk to her and find out a little bit more about John's life and who he was. Dalta, welcome so much. We're just so excited to have you here today.
I'm glad to be here.
Good. Well, listen, so one of the things too, I want to remind everyone before we start talking with Dalta is that you can comment live and ask questions live. So we can see your comments. I don't know if we'll get to all of them, but just make sure that you know that you can comment, you can ask questions as we're going along. Okay, so Dalta, tell me a little bit more about John, about his life and how he was called to find the ark.
Well, I would say that I'll just use some adjectives. He was humorous. He always enjoyed a good joke, and he was intelligent. He was adventurous. And probably the most important thing I would say about him was that he was a man of faith. And his call to find the ark, God was at work in his life, drawing John back to himself. And his father gave him a book about the search for Noah's Ark. And after he read it, he felt like that the Bible is true. And if we found Noah's Ark, that would say that there was a worldwide flood to find a boat on a 17,000-foot mountain in eastern Turkey. And he kind of got ark fever, I guess is the best way to put it. And that was the thing that ended up just causing him to step out in faith and go for it.
What I find fascinating is that he really did go for it. And there was something like 13 expeditions, but he did so much more work too in study and a lot of research in the Grand Canyon, Mount St. Helens. He traveled all around the world speaking about his findings and what he really believed in. And I just thought, this is such a man of faith who was called by God to do incredible things. And now we're telling his life story. What was, why was Struck so important to John?
Well, in the time that God was drawing him to himself, John would get up, go to work, come home, and he would just study the Bible. And he just couldn't get enough of it. And then he'd get up at 6 a.m, go to work, come home, study the Bible. And the ark to him when he went back to school to get his master's and PhD, he wanted it in the field of geology. His undergraduate was in engineering from Virginia Tech. But the reason he wanted it in geology was because he said if there was a worldwide flood, we'd have proof of it all over the world. And sure enough, in our home, we have lots of fossils, and we have even a fossil given to us from a man that found it on Mount Everest. And so his desire was to show the truth of Scripture, that God, when he makes his promises, he fulfills them. And when he gives us something, an assignment, that he will follow through and be faithful to give you the strength, the grace to walk through that in obedience. And I think John wanted everyone to know that the ark represented that it was an ark of safety, that God chose Noah to build a boat against all odds, and that the ark was used to save a righteous man and his family, and from the judgment, the destruction that was going to come. And in essence, when John would speak on this topic and he would share that, he would also say, that's like our ark, who is Jesus Christ, who saves us from the judgment of God, so that we can know our God and be forgiven of our sins. So that's why he went for the ark.
Yeah, and it's such a, it's like Noah was a predecessor to Christ, and that the ark, it's true. And a lot of people, I don't think about that. They think about Noah being the one that saved creation, that saved mankind, and all the animals. But a lot of people don't really think of him as a predecessor to Christ. And I think that's exactly what it was. And it's interesting. I think that Jesus even refers to Noah and his time as in the days of Noah. He says that it will be in the last days, and that's what we're living in. So I think more than ever, this is the time. So tell me a little bit more. I know that what was important, you think, for John to sign on and say, I want my life story told? Did he ever?
Actually, he really didn't want it told. And we had a prayer meeting in our house. There's a story behind it. A friend of ours, when we moved to Dallas, he and John and his wife and I used to get together for lunch, and he read, they would exchange books and they would exchange jokes and stuff. And he came to the lunch table one time and put John's first book on the table, which was called Adventures in Ararat. And he put his finger on it before he sat down, and he goes, this book needs to be a movie. And we all laughed at him. It was Ed Yates. And he said, I'm serious. And when it gets to be a movie, I want a byline suggested by Ed Yates. And we said, oh, okay. If it ever gets to be a movie, we'll put that byline in there. But unbeknown to us is he contacted a producer, and she asked if she could have a meeting with us. We talked through, she just kind of interviewed us, and she said, I think this would work as a good, as a movie. Would you just pray about this? And we were like, John was like, yeah, we'll pray, but he wasn't too excited about it at all. And then he said, I don't want a movie about me, and he said, and I said, well, it's really about what God did in your life, John, what God did, not you. And so he said, well, okay. But we had a prayer meeting to start this, the producing or pre-producing or whatever it's called. And there were 55 people in my home, and we prayed for 45 minutes. And that's when you walked in the room, and I thought, oh, I don't know him, but he looks like he's probably an actor. in the movie. At that time, you were not, but I just thought that. And as we prayed for 45 minutes, after everybody left, John and I were in the car driving somewhere. And he said to me, he said, I don't want to have this movie be about me. And my heart sank because I thought, he doesn't really want this. And so I said, could we trust God that 55 people praying for 20 minutes apiece, you know, with us, that God will reveal what he wants for us and guide us, because that's what everybody prayed for. And he said, yeah, I can trust him for that, you know. And then 1 week later, the other producers and the writer and photographer, and they called us back, and we had 5 of us on the line. And he said, you know, the more I've prayed about this, the more I think the movie should incorporate the life of Noah and what he went through. And after he finished his words, John was like, yes, that's what I want.
That's when he got excited about it.
Yes, that's when he got excited about it, because it was going to be setting forth the truth of God's word.
Wow.
And that was really the driving force in John's life.
That was important to him, you know. And Sue Ellen Roberts was
Yes.
the lady from church that approached you.
Yes.
Talked to John about it, and I know that she met with you guys, and then Wes and Amanda Llewellyn were involved as producers and writers. And it was so interesting, is that, you know, because I was there, I thought this is such an incredible, you know, project. I was like, this is going to be amazing, because the Wes had prepared this incredible presentation. I got a chance to meet John and talk with you guys, and it was just thrilling. And then it wasn't about maybe 6 months later, I get a call and say, well, will you play Noah? So I was like, wow, this is just amazing. Well, one of the things I want to say too is, I think it's interesting that John had such a great sense of humor. And I was going through some of the photos of John, and just really, you know, just seeing some of those photos made me laugh. And you got to tell me a little bit more about some of these photos. You know, he's begging there on the far bottom right, and that was a postcard. What's that all about?
We had John had taken me to his parents' home in San Diego. We had been dating for 9 months or 10, and we both knew that we either needed to take the next step forward or in the relationship. And so we went there and just said, when I landed, and we prayed and said, Lord, would you just kind of show us what we should do, and if we're really in love and should take the next step. And at the end of the week, his mother, we were walking out the door, and she arranged for us to go and eat at Love's Barbecue down on the beach and take a stroll before he put me on the plane. And she's a really quiet and very reserved woman, but I stepped out the door and she grabbed my hand and she just held it and said, Dalta, we've just come to love you so much during this week, and we would be so excited if that God would move you to be a part of our family. And John just went, Mother! He grabbed my hand and we walked out the door, at which we ate and we strolled, and then he put me on the plane, and we both decided we didn't think we were in love, but I burst into tears when I got on the plane, and he said, are you going to be okay? And I said, yeah, I'll just witness to the person next to me, you know? And so John he was a writer of books and stuff, but he didn't write a lot of letters or things like that. But he was in San Diego for the next 3 or 4 days. And during that time, he called 3 times, and he posted I think that picture where he's begging or something, and I didn't know what to think about it, but it just made me laugh too. So that's the reason for that picture.
So that was kind of a begging proposal.
I don't know.
We don't have that in the series.
No, it was not the proposal, but he just took that picture like, you know, the one you left behind, I think is what he said in the.
Well, one of the other things I saw, the picture of him singing, and it looks like it's in a VW van, or it may be a bus or something. And he really was a singer, right?
Yes.
He enjoyed singing.
He did, and he loved to, that was on a bus. He was a recruiter for, he had moved out to San Diego, and he was a recruiter for Christian Heritage College, which was founded by his father and Dr. Tim LaHaye. And it's since changed its name to San Diego Christian College. But he would get on the bus, and he had all these corny songs that he sang, like The Little Blue Man, and he just loved to entertain people and get them to laugh. And the first date I had with him, we went to his apartment, and he pulled out his guitar, and I thought, oh no, he's going to play some sappy song. And he started in this song, and it was called She Was Just a Female Hercules. And I thought, as he sang that, I just thought, I really like this guy. He's so different. And
good sense of humor.
Because it talks about, I thought she was the one I'd like to squeeze, but she was just a female Hercules. And so anyway, he loved to sing corny songs, and he also loved hymns. And as he was with ICR all these years, they have a devotional called Days of Praise. And in it, he would take old hymns and just do the research in scripture on what the words in them were based on. And it was, people would always write in and go, is there another one of those? So anyway, he loved doing that. Wow.
Well, one of the things, I mean, during, production, we shot the VW scene, and I know Amanda's and Wes's heart was to kind of show who John really was in the scene. And so we have this really wonderful scene that we shot, and you were on set for that, I remember. Yes. But what's so great about that is that we were able to kind of show John. There was a lot of tension, and they had to go through so much to get on the mountain, and with permits and everything else. But there was a lot of tension in the bus, and John just breaks out in a hymn during that scene on the VW bus. What was it like for you seeing that scene and just seeing John's life displayed or being recreated? What was that like for you?
Well, I thought it just brought back memories, great memories of if we were having an argument or something, and we both got to an impasse or something, he'd just start humming a hymn or humming a song, or, which brought me back to what's my responsibility in this. And so it just brought back really good memories, because those things really happened. And he would sing in the shower, and he would, he just loved singing. He loved the hymns. He loved funny songs. And he was always asking me, what's the lyrics to this? An old Beach Boy song. And I'm like, I don't know that verse. And he'd be looking up, and he goes, oh, here's what it is. And then he'd tell me. And so we had many times over music.
It's so great. It's so great, because I think that everyone else sees him as this geologist, this very astute, serious man. So it's kind of neat to kind of see him and what his personality was really like. Well, okay. So before we introduce Kayli, I want to show the scene. This is a 4-minute scene. So, but we've never shown the full scene. Like I said, you've seen it in the trailer. So I'm going to show this scene and you guys enjoy this.
You should have seen their faces when I got to the part about being hit by lightning.
That's always a crowd pleaser.
Jimmy!
John?
And I was struck and just lying there in the snow. I was paralyzed. I thought that I was gonna die. I heard God say, "Praise me. Praise me." Praise me for all the blessings that are in your life. Praise me. I love you, Dalta.
Yes. And I love you.
Yes. There's nothing that I would like more than to... I've never felt this way about anybody. But I don't know what's gonna happen with my MS.
John,
It's bleak. I could be in a wheelchair in a year or so. I could get so bad that I couldn't provide for you or raise kids. I could have massive complications and have a very short and painful life.
And?
And?
Did you ask me what I want? Or what I think?
I thought that you would...
Are you breaking up with me or asking me to marry you?
I don't know. It wouldn't be fair for me to ask you to take care of me like that.
John D. Morris, no one is guaranteed a carefree life. No one is guaranteed tomorrow or even the next 5 seconds. So if God has given you the grace to get this far, then He will give us the grace to make this work.
What about kids?
Yes, I want to have children. They will be amazing children. And we will have a happy life.
If we trust God.
You know when I knew there was something special about you? Soon after I met you, you quoted Romans 8:26-28. And you said that even if God never heals you, that you are in His perfect will, and He will use you for His glory, even in your weakness.
I don't usually use Romans as a pickup lines. But, hey, if it works. So I guess we should do something about our relationship.
I was thinking a fall wedding.
I love fall.
Me too.
I love you.
I love you too.
Wow, that's so good, so good. I'm gonna get back to you, Dalta. I'm gonna ask you what your impression is of that scene. But I also want to introduce Kayli. So Kayli Hessler plays Dalta in the series, and she did a phenomenal job, I think, playing Dalta. So I'm going to bring to the stage also Kayli Hessler. Hey, Kayli, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
Oh, great. So good to see you. Thanks for coming on today. And
Yeah, likewise.
well, that's the first time you see the scene, right?
Yeah, I mean, completely. I mean, I've only seen maybe like a couple glimpses here and there, or just like the rough edit of it all. But
Yeah.
that's the first like final cut of it. And I don't know, I was over here just like giggling and smiling and tearing up a little bit in it all. It was wonderful.
I love that. I love that. I was actually, I could see both of you. I was watching your reactions as it was playing. Unbeknownst to anyone else, I could kind of see you guys, but I wanted to kind of see those reactions. But yeah, it's a wonderful scene. And so let's talk a little bit more about your background. So you've done a lot of stage work, is that right?
Yes, yeah. So I think my passion for the arts has always been a part of me and a part of my life. I went to a performing arts elementary school, so that's kind of where it all started. But I didn't actually get into theater itself until I was about 10 years old. But I really enjoyed just being able to get outside of myself and to kind of put on something other than myself. I was a very shy child, and I think my parents can attest to that. I was very shy, so it kind of allowed me to get out of my shell. But since then, I've been doing stage work ever since. So I continued to pursue it throughout middle school and high school. And then whenever I decided to go to college, I decided to try and do like a more traditional, I guess you would say kind of logical means of career path. But I felt like while I was pursuing that, I was called and led to pursuing more of the arts still. So I ended up getting my BFA in acting. And when I graduated, I continued to do that. So I've been a professional actor for the past 7 years. And then if you can kind of see behind me, I also created my own wedding cake designing business. So that's why all this is up here, and I have stand mixers over here. So I get to do both passions. So I'm very grateful for that.
I didn't realize that's what that is up there.
Oh yeah, those are all like cake boards
Oh,
that I have hanging up there.
That is amazing. So if I'm getting married, and I'm not, because I'm very happily married, but if I were to get married, I could hire you to do my wedding cake.
Absolutely. I would be there 100%.
Nice. Nice. I love it. So do you do other cakes besides wedding cakes?
I do, yes, but since it's just myself that runs the entirety of the business, I really just kind of focus on mostly weddings. If I have the availability, I'll do like birthday cakes, or quinceañeras are really big too, so I'll do things like that. But wedding cakes is mostly what I do now.
So, okay. So breaking away from wedding cakes.
Yes.
I mean, I think that's amazing that you do that. That's an artistry in itself. My wife loves baking shows.
Oh, cool.
But how was it for you to play a real character like Dalta?
Yeah. I will say it was a little bit intimidating. Not everybody gets that opportunity to do something like this.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you of course want to do this person justice, but the thing was I didn't actually get to meet Dalta until after we had filmed this scene. So it was a bit of a unique experience already trying to portray somebody, but then to also not know them was a little bit difficult, but I had to go off of the faith that my work was going to portray her the best. And Wes, our director, gave me like a little glimpse into Dalta's life and how wonderful and incredible of a person she is. So I hope that translated in my work. And I'm just very grateful that I even got the opportunity to do so.
I think it's real interesting to me that there's this underlying strength. And once I got to know Dalta, I saw that strength in her as well. And what was it like? I think that in the scene, you're kind of like, you feel for these two young people that they're about to embark on this life together, and he's struggling with some major health issues. So what was it like for you just to kind of embody that as a young woman that's about to commit to someone that may have a huge health struggle up ahead?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a really good question. I kind of had to really kind of think about this and how I would word it or translate it in a way outside of my head and into words. But I think one part of it is the fact that I am already married as well. And I know that love is not only just a choice that you make every single day to choose your partner every day, but it's also something that is given to you without reason, but with faith. And so I could only assume that Dalta felt the same with John in this situation. And we know that life doesn't come without its own challenges. And we know that John has his own with his MS diagnosis and everything that he was called to do in his life, and how Dalta had to encourage him to do that and do her own pursuits as well in her life, what she was called to do. So I had to just put myself in that situation too. Like, what would I do if my husband, for example, was called to do something like this? What do I do? You have no choice but to love and to support and have faith that it will work out if that is what is meant to happen, you know? So I kind of went off of that, and Todd is not, go ahead.
No, it's so strong, and it's just it's that underlying faith and strength that you see in the character of Dalta.
Yes.
That I see also in the real Dalta as well, and I think it's phenomenal what you were able to accomplish, and the directing as well, as like you said, Wes in his direction, I think probably gave you that motivation for her in that scene. But what I find is really interesting about Struck, the series, is that even though it's about two men, it's about John Morris and his life and how he was struck by God to find evidence, and what he risked and what he did to find the evidence of the ark. But it's also about Noah and what he risked, his life and what he was called to do to build the ark. Mm-hmm. But then you've got these two incredible women that are really our bookends, or they mirror the strength of God, and they support these women support these powerful men, and they undergird them with strength. And so, what was it like for you and also Todd, since you guys played so well together? What was it like that just kind of showing that strength in this scene and really kind of displaying this? Because I think, to me, it's so important that people understand that these great men had great women behind them.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. I think John probably had an idea of that when he did his little song to Dalta about she was a female Hercules. He kind of had an idea of that already, right? But I love that you make that point, though, that there is strength outside of just the physical sense of the word, right? Like being physically strong. But there is strength in encouragement as well. And I think that was the key to portray that through this scene, that there is strength in being soft and being encouraging and being the woman in the relationship, supporting your husband. And it goes either way, you know, where whoever is called to do whatever, that's what you have to do in a relationship. And I think that spirit also comes from within. That encouragement, that strength comes from within, from the spirit. So hopefully that makes sense.
Right. It does make sense. It does. And as an actor, I totally understand that, because you're drawing from your own life.
Yes.
But yet you're playing this real character, and you got to be true to her. Well, what I want to do is I want to bring on Dalta as well. And so here we all are. Hey, Dalta.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi there.
Now, you guys didn't meet on set, right? Did you meet?
No, we didn't until Amanda and Wes were staying at our home, and they had a party in Kayli came there.
Yeah, that was the first time
That was
we
the
had
first
actually
time.
met.
Oh, wow.
And she brought a phenomenal cake, by the way.
Well, she should. I remember that cake.
Yeah.
It was so good. It was so good. Very creative too. I want to ask you, Dalta, before we go on, and we've only got a few minutes left, but I want to ask you a little bit more about John and that scene. When you're watching that scene again, it's interesting to me that this is your life here. Was that similar to when he proposed to you? Did you have those concerns about his health? You knew that, I think that he had already been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I did know that. Well, the scene brought tears to my eyes this time again. It just reminded me that that was very close to what happened.
Yeah.
Not to the proposal. I didn't suggest a September wedding, but but it just, I had all that information beforehand, and I think it was the Spirit of God that gave me the strength to say, you know what? If God can give you the grace to live with the disease, then he can give me the grace, the woman that he calls alongside you. So it was kind of fun reliving that experience through Kayli. I thought she did a fantastic job, and my reactions were almost exactly that, the way that she portrayed them.
Oh, wow.
And that was kind of funny too, because Amanda and Wes had written the script and they didn't tell me how they were going to deal with it. And it was great. It came across really true to form, so anyway.
Wow. So how did you support him during his MS? I mean, that was such a huge thing to embark on your lives together, knowing that he had that health issue. How did you support him through that? Because he had already climbed Mount Ararat, I think, once before and was struck by lightning. And then you guys decided to get married. And of course, you built your lives together, had 3 beautiful children. But how did you support him through all of that?
Well, I think one of the things I was sharing with my roommate the other night is living with John. He did not allow the MS to rule over us at all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he would plan something, and if something happened, then we would just take a detour to the hospital or wherever we were. And we've seen the insides of more hospitals than I can even name, But at the same time, he always trusted God. And while he was in the hospital, he would be witnessing to the nurses and the doctors. He'd tell me to bring my books. I want to give this to the doctor. And so I'd go home and get his books, and he'd hand them out. And then when he had a stroke in 2014, the nurse, one of the ways they got him back up on his feet, she said, I heard that you're the creation. She was in front of him, and there were 4 men beside him because they didn't want him to fall. And she said, I heard, are you the one that's passing out creationist materials in our break room? And he would go, well, I just want you to know you didn't come from a fish. And he'd take a step, And so we had a ball, even in the times that we were in the hospital. And the most recent one before his moving to heaven we were on a trip with our daughter and her family. And anyway, we ended up going to the hospital that morning because of vomiting and diarrhea and all this kind of stuff. We get there and we're in the hospital, and then a fire breaks out close to our house that we were staying in, and it came over on the alert in the ER room. And
oh my gosh.
I'm like, I asked the girl how close that was to the street we were on. And but anyway, even in the middle of that, the nurses would come in and they go, I bet you're not going to come to Branson anytime soon. And I said, well, we might think about it for a while. But it was just, kind of went with the flow, and he was that way. It was a joy living with him, and it was an adventure all my life. I was leaving for India on a mission trip. The night before, he had an attack of multiple sclerosis, which he couldn't move. He couldn't even get in a wheelchair or anything. And so I just thought, okay, Lord, I guess I'm not going to India tomorrow, and I'll just call him and we'll, whatever. And John was like, don't call them yet. And I said, John, I cannot leave you like this, and not even able to care for yourself. And so we went to bed that night, and I woke up, and John was standing in the doorway with his hands up above his head like that. And he said, you're going to India. And I did. But that was just parts of our life. I mean, every time he had an attack, it was crazy. We ended up being able to see God's provision like you couldn't believe.
God's faithfulness. Yeah.
He is.
And his physical hand that kind of helped you guys along.
Oh, yes.
You committed your life to him, and then the Lord just saw you through. And I think it's phenomenal. To me, it's unimaginable that he did 13 expeditions and spoke all around the world and did what he did, all his research, everything, while being diagnosed and suffering through MS. It's just amazing because this is such a debilitating illness. Well, I've got one more question to ask each of you, and I'm going to allow you to answer this, and we're almost done, so we got to quickly leave the stage here, but I want to ask each of you a question. So Dalta, you first. What is your hope for Struck?
My hope would be what John wanted, is that it would just show people that Noah was a real character, that there was a flood, but it was caused as a judgment against sin, but that God provided an ark of escape. And that's what he has done in Jesus Christ, to draw us to himself. That's my hope.
Wow. Okay, Kayli, same question.
Yeah. Well, I hope that we can get everyone to help us bring this story to distributors so that we be able to bring this to life and to share this such incredible and special parallel of these two stories, that it deserves to be shared to everybody that can hear it. And I want it to move everybody in their own spiritual journey as it has myself. And I hope, and I know that it would have that same effect on anybody that would watch it.
Well, I want to thank these amazing ladies because, oh my gosh, I so enjoyed this, just trying to find out a little bit more about John through Dalta, and really the experience of Kayli playing Dalta. It's thrilling to me to see all this come together, you guys. The amazing talent, the stories, the miracles that have happened through Struck and what's going on. And I want to remind you guys too, I know we don't have a lot of time left, but I want to remind you to go to strucktheseries.com and help us get this amazing series to fruition. Help us get it out there. Just like Chosen, we're asking for donations. We're asking for your help. We're asking you to spread the word. So go to all of our socials, get involved, sign up for the Lightning Club, and also on our socials, our Facebook, our YouTube, our Twitter accounts, Instagram, wherever we have a social. Make sure you share. Let people know about this because this is incredible. Share the trailer, share the website, get people involved. We need you guys to make a difference because you have the power to make Struck a reality. And then right now, I want to tell you guys about this incredible contest we have. We've only got a couple of days left, so make sure you sign up for it. But go to strucktheseries.com, click on contest, and just enter your email address. We promise we're not going to sell your information. We're not going to bug you. Promise. we're going to just allow you to enter this contest. Once you get into the contest, like I said, you can like us on Facebook, you get 2 entries. You can follow us on YouTube, get 2 entries. You can share with your friends and family, you get multiple entries. And then, of course, if you sign up for the Lightning Club, you get 5 extra entries. So it's more chances to win. We're giving away 2 mugs, and literally on March the 1st, we're going to announce the winners. So make sure you go to strucktheseries.com and sign up under contest. The other thing I want to talk to you about is our gear. Not only do we have mugs, we have t-shirts, and we have all kinds of fun things. And you guys can also purchase merchandise. What it does, it helps us. The proceeds all go to fund Struck the Series. We've got development costs, as you know. If you watch the trailer, there's CGI, there's special effects, there's a lot. You guys can't even imagine how expensive something like this is. So every time you buy a t-shirt, or every time you buy a bag or cup or whatever, those proceeds go to help us fund the series. So, and right now, like I said before, I'm going to put this up here. You can go to strucktheseries.com, buy the gear, and use the promo code STRUCK10, and you can see our Struck by God merchandise. You can see our No More Rock Monsters. You can see all that there. But for a limited time, and only people that are viewing this can have access to this promo code, because it's supposed to be gone by now, but because you're watching, you can still have access to it. But use that promo code and you get 10% off. So it's our way to say thank you for helping us out. We just really appreciate it. So I guess that is it, you guys. I do want to say I'm just so thankful for everything that we've got going on here, and all the amazing, talented people that we got behind the scenes that you guys are not seeing here. And I'm excited that we've got this amazing, really, the live allows us to talk to our talented team of actors, producers. We've got some great people here that have devoted so much time and energy to the Struck series. It is an epic adventure series, and I'm telling you guys, I am more than thrilled to be involved in this, and I'm excited about Dalta, her story. You want to find out more, go to strucktheseries.com, and you can find out more about the story behind it. We've also got some more information on John and his legacy there. So go to strucktheseries.com, find out a little bit more about John and the story behind Struck the Series. You can find out more there. And again, follow us, get more people involved, because we just need that. We need more people involved, telling the story, getting this out there, because just like The Chosen, as I mentioned, we need people like you. Now, The Chosen is all around the world now, and we believe Struck can be all around the world too, but we need your help. So get the information out, let people know about it, follow and share. And like I said, enter the contest, because that gives you extra entries. You can win a mug just like this one right here. If you enter that contest, you can win one of those mugs, but what you're actually doing is helping us get the word out. So thank you guys so much. And until next time, we'll see you soon.